servicing a brake assembly. So this is generally how it works. There's air input here and here, and then this is power for the fan. So this fan needs power, it gets from this port right here. So when I put air in here, it causes these pucks to expand, and then it pushes this plate up against that one gear plate, which presses against the brake pads and then presses against the other plate on the back side. So by pushing this plate up, it forces the brakes on. So I've got one set of pucks here and another set of pucks here. So it's just two different sets. And that way you can get a gradual increase in brake pressure. There are 3 bolts holding this plate assembly on. Wipe those off on the rag. And then there's the plate. So you can see these legs will sit on top of the structure here, and that bolts to it. And then these springs will just force the plate back down into position so that it's not constantly rubbing on the brakes. These pucks, there's a hose right here. We just grab this thing and spin it off. Just like that. And so the air would come out of this hose, and it causes this puck to pull apart. Alright, and we can see the 2 hoses. So this one will do 2 pucks, right? So there's 2 attachment points, and then this one does the other 4. There's 4 attachment points. So if I want very light pressure, it would apply air here. If I want to slightly, double that pressure, I could apply it here. Or if I want to use all 6 pucks, we use pressure on both sides. Now at this point, we need to clean everything inside of here, and there's a couple ways to do that. The first way is we could take this fan out, and then take these out, and we could literally clean this all in the parts cleaner. Or the alternative is we just blow it down and clean it with everything installed. Both ways are acceptable. For a novice, it's probably better just to blow it out and clean it out with everything installed, just on account of if you put it back together wrong, then it causes problems for the next person. So I'll just show you that way for today. Alright, so now I've just got isopropyl alcohol, 99%, and I'm just going to rub it on down. For any loose particles that might have not clear, I'm just going to blow it out one more time. This doesn't have to be perfect. The main reason that we're servicing this is because of the pucks. The pucks are the main problem that occurs with these. So these are going to get serviced, and this just needs to get mostly cleaned out. Now you can get a much better clean if you do take the fan out, take this assembly out, and then actually clean everything in parts cleaner and then put all this stuff back in. That is a better way to do it, but this is acceptable. Here's your pucks that are ready to go. We just spin these on. You want to make sure, because this fitting is plastic, you want to make sure that you do not destroy that thread. Okay, so we're getting there. So now it's time to drop this plate back on. Just make sure that these legs line up with these structure points. And you want these screws to be just below the level of the plate. What I've seen people do to measure it out before is they'll tighten it all the way down till it stops. So right there it stopped, and then they back it off 3 turns. Start here, go in that direction, we can go 1, 2, 3. And that gets you a pretty good spacing. So that's an option. If you want to make sure it's perfect every time, that's a good way to do it. And then double check it. Now this one seems a little deep still, so I'm going to loosen that up a little bit. And it's important that these bolts not be above the surface of the plate, because if they do, they will get smashed, and that's not good. Now we're going to use Molykote. It's Molykote 55. This is an all-purpose lube for O-rings. This is great stuff. And there's an O-ring around this brass nipple. So I want to get that coated so that when we push this assembly on, it's not going to tear that O-ring. This will also help just make a good seal. And different people have different ideas on how much you're supposed to use, but it can come back to bite you, because obviously if you put too much in here, then you're going to have a bunch of Molykote inside the air system. The last part is we got to test it. So we got to make sure that each puck extends and then it also drops back down. Okay. So 2 pucks, this one and this one, are both opening up. And then this one should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, and that's working. Now we just got to protect it. I don't want anything going inside here, so I'm going to cover it up with tape. And the only reason we're using this thick stuff is because we ran out of the thin stuff and we have a whole bunch of this. That's why we're using it. Thin stuff works just as good. Okay, that's one done. Got 3 to go. Shit, what were you doing? Oh, okay, right on.
Compies. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Did you make some coffee, bro?
Yeah, there's a batch up there. Hey! That's the good stuff. Yeah, some of it's really good. Some of it's really not great. But some of it's good.
Dude, I really love the good stuff.
Yeah, it makes the good stuff taste that much better.
Yeah. I was telling my son about that coffee bean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was like, what? Like, so it's the bean, you know, they shit them out, and then they're like, you know, it's just a little gooey.
It's a little gooey. What?
Yeah, he could have. He was looking at me out in horror.
That's awesome.
You ain't shit. My son, it ain't the first time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you ain't ass.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with mama.
Heck, yeah, exactly. Alright, so now it's time to clean up these things, so first wipe it down. There's going to be some Molykote inside here, so we want to get that out. And this is an O-ring. We've got some spares. They're X-Profile O-rings. And what you want to do is grab it and you just kind of push it like that. You can see how it squeezes out. You just take a look around. You want to see that it is sticking out just a little bit. And if these get too worn, you just replace them. If you want to replace it, you squeeze it out like that, pull it out, and clean out the gap. Should be a little Molykote packed inside of there. This one's okay. Looks alright. I'm just going to clean it off. We can see that there is some wear on this, so I'm going to sand this down, kind of polish it up a little bit, try to get that smooth. And on the inside here, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to kind of clean up any imperfections inside of here. This one actually looks pretty good. Yeah, I get a little spot right there. But yeah, if you see any damage, you want to sand that down. I'm using a fairly fine sandpaper. It's P400. Could go even higher, could go 800 if you want to, but 400 will get the imperfections out a little quicker.
Alright, Pastor D. Just kept on the way for dispatch. I'll make her. Thank you.
You can see how this looks now. Doesn't take a lot. Just want to make sure there isn't going to be any burrs that are going to be rubbing on here. Give it one more wipe down. this coated, but you don't want it to be like mushy. You don't want there to be too much material on here. So what I do is I'll push it on like that and then smear it across. And it's more important that the O-ring gets the lube, but not necessarily the aluminum. This will also smear anywhere that it needs it. Just like that. Now if I was to just blow into this hole at this point, it would blow this thing out. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to kind of hold it and just make sure that it works. And it's working. So this one's good. I'm just going to do the rest of these. And that's it. Pucks are ready for the next batch, and the brake assemblies are ready to get installed.